Hi, Precious Heart. Thank you for joining us for our weekly vlog. Today, the Company of Heaven will continue sharing information about the powerful divine intervention that took place during Earth's 500-year period of grace. Even though it became clear after the plans that had been initiated and implemented during the first few years of our 500-year period of grace that the masses of humanity were still in danger of not making it through the shift of the ages, Alpha and Omega were not willing to give up on us. With permission from our Father, Mother God, Alpha and Omega sent forth a clarion call to advanced beings throughout the cosmos. They asked for volunteers who would be willing to embody on Earth to help free this planet from the snare of humanity's human egos. In response, literally millions of highly evolved souls from dimensions beyond anything we had ever experienced volunteered to embody on Earth in order to help the fallen sons and daughters of God evolving on this planet. The plan was for these incoming souls to enter the world of form through the natural process of birth. They would be subject to the same universal laws affecting all of us, which meant that they would also receive the band of forgetfulness prior to embodiment. The band would prevent them from immediately remembering who they are and why they are here. The intent was for these highly evolved volunteers to model for humanity our divine potential as sons and daughters of God without being distinguished from the evolutions of Earth in any way. Since these advanced souls were not involved with our fall from grace or the creation of the maladies existing on Earth, the hope was that they would have a better chance of awakening quickly. This would enable them to create an upward flow of consciousness that would lift humanity's focus of attention and help us to awaken and to reconnect with our I Am presence. The concern was that most of these advanced souls who had volunteered to embody on Earth had never experienced anything like the negativity existing on this planet. Alpha and Omega did not want the volunteers to inadvertently get trapped in the chaos while endeavoring to assist humanity. In order to avert that tragic outcome, Alpha and Omega decided to test the waters for this experiment by allowing just a few of these selfless sons and daughters of God to embody on Earth at one time. For the first 400 years of our 500-year period of grace, these highly evolved souls embodied on Earth a few at a time. As they awakened, they added to the light of the world and helped raise humanity's consciousness in various ways. A few of them were the adepts we have heard or read about, but in most instances, these powerful beings of light served humanity and fulfilled their missions without the awareness of the outer world. Toward the end of the 1800s, the Earth was moving out of the frequencies of Pisces, but we had not yet moved into the full embrace of Aquarius. We were entering the window of opportunity that is referred to as the dawn of the new age. In alignment with what normally occurs during the dawn of every new age, our Father, Mother God, and Alpha and Omega evaluated the progress being made on Earth. It was determined that the plans that were initiated at the beginning of our 500-year period of grace were succeeding to a degree, but there were still colossal amounts of negative energy from lifetimes' worth of humanity's accumulated miscreations that still had to be transmuted back into light. These destructive energies reflected the hatred and violence that had been perpetuated by our human egos for eons of time. Since we are all one, every particle and wave of life is interrelated, interconnected, and interdependent. There is no separation. What affects one facet of life affects all life. What this means in very practical terms is that this accumulation of humanity's negative thoughts, feelings, words, and actions had to be brought to the surface and transmuted back into light if any of us were going to be ready in time to make it through the shift of the ages. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. We cannot just say cancel, cancel, and clear lifetimes worth of our ego's abuse of power. In order to make it through the shift of the ages, we had to become aware of our ego's past transgressions of the universal laws of divine love and reverence for all life. Only then would we realize how critical it is for us to invoke the light of God and transmute back into its original perfection the precious life energy we misused while creating the gross mutations that have caused all of the pain and suffering on earth. Our fear-based and fragmented human egos created every abominable human miscreation by choosing to use our life force in ways that were not based in love. Our life force is the precious atomic and subatomic particles and waves of energy our Father, Mother, God give to us as our gift of life. When our wayward egos made the free will choice to misuse our life force through our creative faculties of thought and feeling, we were catapulted into the abyss of separation and duality. This is what has caused all manner of pain and suffering on earth. After their evaluation, it was clear to Alpha and Omega that in order for the children of Earth to transmute their massive amounts of misqualified energy in time to make it through the shift of the ages, there was no other option than for humanity to begin experiencing the results of our miscreations at an accelerated pace. Knowing the urgency of the hour, our Father, Mother, God issued a cosmic edict. Through this edict, our godparents gave the highly evolved souls who had volunteered to assist humanity by embodying on earth permission to intervene in the purging and transmutation of humanity's miscreations in previously unknown ways. For the first time ever, these selfless sons and daughters of God were given permission to join with the I Am presences of the children of earth in order to assist them by taking on some of their karmic liabilities. The hope was that by collectively assisting humanity to transmute the mass karma our egos had created, the purging process on earth would be able to move forward at warp speed. This divine edict meant that the incoming evolved souls would have to embody in areas where the painful maladies of earth and the densest frequencies of humanity's suffering were being played out. After our Father, Mother, God and Alpha and Omega completed the evaluation they made during the latter days of the 1800s, they decided what the greatest need of the hour was for humanity and Mother Earth. It was clear that during the first 400 years of our 500-year period of grace, the highly evolved volunteers who had been allowed to embody on Earth, a few at a time, had made a real difference. They were adding to the light of the world in powerful ways that actually exceeded Alpha and Omega's greatest expectations. since there were only 100 years left in our 500-year period of grace, Alpha and Omega asked our Father, Mother God if they could expand the experiment involving the highly evolved volunteers from throughout the cosmos. In response, our godparents issued a cosmic dispensation, giving Alpha and Omega permission to open the gates of heaven. This allowed the precious volunteers who had been waiting in the inner realms for the divine directive to embody on earth permission to begin their earthly sojourns. In divine timing, our Father, Mother God sounded a cosmic tone, and by the millions, the highly evolved souls and sons and daughters of God began the process of embodying on earth through the natural vehicle of birth. Dear heart, next week, the Company of Heaven will share with us what occurred during the final 100 years of our 500-year period of grace. God bless you, and I look forward to being with you next week.